people living with cerebral palsy. Challenge yourself, your classmates or your co-workers to walk, run or roll your way to 10,000 steps a day for 1 month. Taking part is easy. Grab 3 friends, register online and get moving. Sign your team up for September. Get healthy and make a difference. Get started today at steptember.org.au.
Isn't it time you stepped out of the rat race and into a life less complicated? Discover Caritas quality with brand new villas and apartments in Glenelg, Marion, Brooklyn Park and Plimpton Park. All stunning locations, close to amenities, just a short stroll or bus trip away. Just live and enjoy your retirement. Let us worry about the rest. Ask us how you can live fee-free for up to 2 years. Call 1300 796 311 or visit caritasretirementvillages.com.au today. Conditions apply.
$13.95, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Peter Godfrey.
5:07. Let's head across the ditch. Take a look at what's happening in New Zealand. Selwyn Manning, editor of eveningreport.nz. How are you this morning, Selwyn?
Yeah, very good, Peter. Pretty cold over this side of the ditch. Certainly in Auckland we've got some frost around and a bit of clear blue skies shaping up, so the sun's going to obviously put some warmth into the ground pretty soon.
Oh, half your luck. We got, what does that for? Morning fog, 60% chance of showers, at 15 degrees. That's it.
That might be our lot in about, say, 3 days.
Yeah, could well be. We'll
give it 3 days to get across.
Yeah.
That's probably what's going to happen there. But, no, it's certainly nice weather for getting around. You know, yesterday really felt some warmth in the sun.
Oh, okay.
When it was out, which is a big deal for us over here.
Yeah, I've forgotten what that feels like. We nearly blew away here yesterday. We had huge winds. It kept waking me up during the day. It felt like the house, or it sounded like the house was falling down.
Wow.
Yeah, really strong winds. But, anyway.
We'll need Jane to sort out that weather.
She will.
So
she
we'll
will indeed.
know what it's about.
She will indeed. Your, a sense of warmth in here, just quickly before we get on to other things. We had a little story in our paper yesterday that said if you're looking to book your next holiday, you may want to look across the ditch. New Zealand's the only destination where Australian travellers will get more bang for their buck than they did a year ago, with the Aussie dollar basically has gained against your dollar enough that it's much more beneficial to head to New Zealand. So you might see a lot of us heading over there if you keep talking about a little bit of warmth in the air and that.
Yeah, that's very good. And for those who like the skiing, or giving it a go, even there's still time. There's a good month ahead. So. Yeah.
I wonder if I've got any holiday leave left.
Your bosses will be looking at that as you...
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get on to some news now. Big one to start with, all related to to China devaluing their currency this week, and exporters in New Zealand. How's it going to affect them? Some complex and a costly path ahead for them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, New Zealand exporters trading with China, of course, they're anticipating a complex but costly path ahead here as that China yesterday and the last 2 days, really, even overnight, devalued its currency, the yuan, throughout the week. It's obviously had huge effects right across the world's currency markets and evaluations going on what it really means. Those countries that are most exposed to China's economic trajectory are Australia, South Korea, New Zealand, Japan, Malaysia and Thailand in particular. As a proportion of our exports, we're very, very tied to the hip of China here now. Particularly vulnerable are their exporters. And in New Zealand, most that stands out here, and a lot of eyes will be on how Fonterra, the dairy powder export giant, Peter, how it adjusts to all of this. Now, Fonterra has been, we've spoken on 5WA a few times in the last couple of weeks about Fonterra struggling to strike a viable deal for Kiwi farmers in that milk export area, particularly in the bulk milk powder. Last Friday, Fonterra, it announced it would top up a really dismal $3.85 per kilo of milk solid rate with a 40 to 50 cents dividend on top of that. So what they're doing there is the $4 per kilo of those milk solids is around about the break even at the farm gate. If you're making milk, your cows are making milk, but if you're exporting milk, Fonterra handles all of that. The price that you should get at your farm gate per kilo of milk solids is around a minimum of $4, and that's for those farmers that have actually structured their loans and their whole business very economically. Anything below that, and it's dead loss. Now, that was putting shockwaves through New Zealand right across all the sectors that are aligned to dairy and farming services last week. That aside, what's happening up here is that top-up that I mentioned there that Fonterra was doing, they were trying to design into that to give some clarity to farmers and their finances, actually, so they knew really where things were. Okay, well, the dividend gets it back up into that kind of, it's not in the black, but it's kind of not dipping down, trending into the red as well. Now, this all is affected by what China has done, Peter. For example, the implications of the dairy sector in New Zealand, especially with the national-led government, it agreed with China, for example, only a couple of years ago to calculate a two-way trade based on the New Zealand dollar versus the Yuan, the Chinese currency, not as it used to be, tagged to the US dollar, which is standing up very strongly now. Now, China's devaluation of the Yuan couldn't have come at a worse time, really. New Zealand's currency has been devaluing by degrees over the last 6 months, offering some relief to exporters. Now, quite simply what we're talking about there, is when the currency drops down, it's easier for our exporters to get into export markets. It's the same for Australian businesses. When your dollar's down a bit, it doesn't cost those countries overseas as much to actually purchase the goods. And so it stimulates that export, and that's what the New Zealand dollar has been doing. But with China dropping down, well, that makes it difficult in the sense that the exporters that are exporting stuff to China, irrespective of what country is, will get less money back from the same amount of goods. So that is a bit of a double whammy here. While the commodity prices of milk is obviously in a very low cycle at the moment, we're going to be getting less back from our main export market, which is China, in those commodity areas. And that's not just milk, of course, that's right across the board, and there are parallels to Australia there too. And overnight, I understand that the New Zealand dollar has been trying to, it's obviously been adjusting down, and it's tagged very closely to Australia. So where Australia goes, our dollar tends to, but like you said at the beginning, Peter, it's kind of a sizable amount less in value to yours. So it's, it's complex kind of stuff in a sense, but what it basically means at the moment, unless our dollars track downward at the same rate as the Chinese currency, then we're going to get less coming back into our country as we sell our product and services to China.
Yeah, because the dairy industry, that's pretty much your largest industry, isn't it? Or pretty much the largest?
Yeah, it's pretty much up there. I mean, there are the sectors I mentioned on your breakfast program last Friday that are doing okay, and those are like pit fruit, for example, in the horticulture areas. But wine is obviously doing okay too, doing very well actually, and the other areas are like avocados and those kind of things are doing really well. Funnily enough, beef, the export of beef meat and things like, around the beef industry, that's doing really well. Lamb, it's okay, but not so good. So there is some good stuff in the market. Also, New Zealand is diversified into other areas like most countries have, like in the ICT areas, et cetera, et cetera. They're doing okay in some areas of the sector. The media, not doing good. It's pretty dismal as far as advertising and marketing, and it's competitive, et cetera, et cetera. But overall, the New Zealand economy has got other things that can take the whack out of this. But still, there's, in a lot of those other areas, the trade to China, this is where it starts to get problematic and complex, is very big. So the returns back at this stage in the game are going to be less unless our dollar goes down in value more and more and more. Of course, if you're trading with those that are aligned to the US dollar, and you're trading in a big way, well, the strength of the US dollar as our currencies go down, that's maintaining its position at the moment, the US dollar, so you get a little bit back. But like you all know, we've been doing big deals in two-way trade, and you've just signed in Australia the free trade agreement with China. New Zealand's had that going for 10 years, I think it is, pretty close to that anyway. And, we're very, very, very vulnerable when things start tracking downwards in this way.
Yeah, indeed. All right, so we'll just have a quick break, and then on the subject of things going down, we're going to talk about the All Blacks and the Wallabies on the weekend.
And a flag, I think.
And a flag too. Be back with you in a moment. Selwyn Manning with us, editor of eveningreport.nz.
David Penberthy, Mark Aston, and Jane Riley for breakfast.
At Centennial Park, I've opened up the option of perpetual leases. Mark's thinking about having his ashes sprinkled on the carpet at the local TAB, aren't you, Mark? Only oval for mine.
Only oval would be perfect for you.
Northern end.
What about you, Jane?
The end of the Brighton jetty.
Yeah, and by the way, you look well. I'm not insinuating.
The 5AA Breakfast Show. Weekday mornings from 6 on 1395. Adelaide's 5AA.
Right now, when you buy a Jeep, you'll be laughing all the way to the beach, or the outback, or even the mountains. Because Jeep dealers are offering huge factory bonuses across a select range of models, like the 2015 Grand Cherokee Laredo, now with up to $2,000 off the drive-away price. But hurry, it's for a limited time only, so visit your local Jeep dealer today. Offer only available from authorised Jeep dealers on a select range of Jeep vehicles bought and paid for by August 31, 2015, or while stocks last. Bonus not redeemable for cash.
Hey, my name's James Cooper. I'm 23 years old and I'm a Green Army participant. I would like to be a park ranger one day. I'm sure the Green Army would help me get there. We have a nursery in the town that we work for. We grow right down from the seeds, and then we take them out to all our big projects, and that's what we use for our revegetation. If you're doing a good thing for the environment, everyone loves it.
If you're 17 to 24 and would like some paid experience working on local environmental projects, search Green Army to find out what's going on. The Green Army. Local people, local projects. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra. Spoken by J. Cooper and S. Page.
Hi, Alan Lark from Mannix here. Don't pay too much to warm your home. Call Mannix now and save up to $1,000 in natural gas rebates and discounts with a 5-outlet Bonaire ducted gas heating system fully installed from just $2,350. Plus, right now, upgrade to a 4-star heater and Mannix will supply a super high-efficiency 5-star at no additional cost. But hurry, rebates and upgrades end soon. For a free quote, call Mannix or go online anytime.
Are you struggling to hear people on the phone? Are you constantly missing things your loved ones say? If so, it's time to have your hearing checked. Australian Hearing has locations all across South Australia. We'll provide a free hearing check and discuss the best hearing solutions for your needs. The first 500 pensioners who attend an appointment at Australian Hearing before September 30 will also receive a free personal protection pocket alarm. Protect your hearing by calling 131 797 today.
Peter Godfrey on 1395. Adelaide's 5AA.
And we're looking across the ditch as well. Selwyn Manning, editor of eveningreport.nz. Now, Selwyn, All Blacks and Wallabies on the weekend. We did it.
You did it, Peter.
We knocked you out 27-19, yes.
Yes, to plagiarise your call there, the best team won on the day, Peter. So there you go.
Was it a fluke, though? Was it a fluke, though? Was it a fluke, though?
Was it a fluke? No, it wasn't a fluke. It was certainly well engineered by Australia, that's for sure. And New Zealand, the All Blacks were certainly caught out by you guys. The pundits, they were right on, weren't they? And when we spoke last week, Peter, on your program, we were kind of pitching toward that Australia was going to beat the All Blacks. So if we were betting people, we would have done well on that one. But
we would have.
On Saturday, the Wallabies, they're going to obviously attempt to make it 2 in a row against the All Blacks. They're playing this time at Eden Park in Auckland here. That's going to be a tough one. Now, the New Zealand Herald this week, it's been saying it's focused actually on the Australian rugby great, your Wallabies great there, Phil Cairns. Now, he's absolutely gone all out here. Phil Cairns has predicted that the All Blacks will hit the Wallabies, and he says here, like a pack of mongrel dogs. So Phil Cairns, in the quote here, it's just a great one. He says, I think New Zealand will come out like complete mad mongrel dogs and will endeavour to teach the Wallabies a lesson, Phil Cairns says. So that's what they're saying in the New Zealand Herald. What he's talking about there is that Eden Park, Peter, it's like you guys, with your big stadiums. You send a team from overseas into those, and it's like they're at the Coliseum. And that's what Eden Park's like from rugby terms. There's a few standout parks around the world. Eden Park's one of them. Cardiff Arms Park, over there in Wales is another. And, the ones in South Africa are kind of like this too. They're absolutely so partisan. You can spot the poor old Aussies in Eden Park, the brave people sitting in the stands that go to these games. But that aside, The Herald, it cleverly pointed out, it's doing really good rugby reportage, actually, the Herald at the moment. It's certainly gearing up for the World Cup here. But it's pointed out that the All Blacks back in New Zealand have had 37 straight test wins obviously without a defeat. That's in New Zealand itself. So these are just the figures, and of course, and the team has got to actually perform. But if you're looking at history and tradition, consider this one, Peter. I'm really laying it on thick here. I'm sorry about this. The All Blacks, they haven't lost a test at Eden Park for over 21 years. The last time they lost at Eden Park was on July the 3rd, 1994.
Okay, yeah, that's impressive. Yeah.
The last time the Wallabies played the All Blacks at Eden Park, the New Zealand All Blacks won 22 points to Australia's 0.
Ooh, yep.
And that was only August 25th, 2012. I think I spoke to you about that one. I was obviously laying it on thick that time too. But we've got to lay it on thick at this stage in the week. As we lost to you guys, that was like a punch in the eye. It's like the All Blacks have all got a shiner. The country was absolutely scathing of the All Blacks' performance, and it's their chance to kind of say, okay, we're still a contending world champion team. And that's what's on the line here. If Australia does it again on Saturday, that really, really, really dents the All Blacks' preparation for the World Cup. So there's a lot riding on this.
Yeah. Can I maybe counter some of those quotes from the New Zealand Herald?
We'll give you a go.
Tit for tat. This is from the Sydney Morning Herald. Mark Reason's written in there, who says, make no mistake, last weekend's result was not a fluke. It's been coming for a while. It's been coming because New Zealand have been playing predictable rugby for 18 months now. It's been coming because Australia have a bench that's full of hard men and mavericks, players who will crush you and stretch you when your lungs are burning. Take that, Selwyn.
That's great, Peter, isn't it? Full of, that national pride.
Oh, boy, yeah. Yeah, I think
that's great. Back here in New Zealand, some of the analysis, it's saying that the success of the Wallabies at the moment is due to the Pacific Island players that are in there that have absolutely got their teeth around the bit. They're going for it. So that's about as much this week as can be squeezed out of the New Zealand writers. But no, look, we named a couple of the players there, particularly Pocock was going to be significant in your team, and certainly he is. The quality of your players are hitting top form. It may be, Peter, that it's because you guys got rid of the Kiwi coach. Mr. Deans was the coach going back a year or two, and the Wallabies weren't doing too flash there. And Mr. Deans has come back to New Zealand most of the time and not coaching you guys, and you've gone stronger ever since. So maybe there's something in that too.
Maybe. We'll wait and see this weekend. Just finally, so you guys are looking at changing your flag possibly at some point. Looking to there's a short list of 40 have been selected. Boy, that's a lot to choose out of.
There were 10,000 submitted.
Oh, okay, so it's really been whittled down. Yeah.
There's even a flag consideration panel that was set up, Peter.
Yeah.
Now, this is the brainchild of our wonderful Prime Minister, John Key. This is his legacy thing here. He is obviously wanted to stamp his mark on the flag, etc., etc. So there was $26 million set aside for the potential flags, the potential replacement flags to be put out there. It'll go to a referendum, which is obviously costly, but he seems to think it's worth it. Now, these flags, I don't know if you've got a visual up on your screen.
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Trying to describe them, what stands out here is in many of them, most, probably half of them, or more than half, the Southern Cross is still there, just like Australia, but New Zealand has traditionally 4 stars in the Southern Cross showing, whereas you guys have got the extra 5.
The extra 5, yeah.
They've got the extra 1 for 5. But the Union Jack is gone in all of them.
Yes.
So the British flag in the corner, just like you guys, it's been grabbed out and chucked back to England. And in its place, there's there's one with the Union Jack still in it by the look of it. But all of the others of the 40, there's either a silver fern.
Yeah, that's common. That's common in various designs, yeah.
Yep. Or what we call the koru, and that's that spiral type thing, which is a Maori symbol, and it's based on the silver fern before the frond opens up. It has that kind of curl.
Okay.
And you see it in all the hundreds of years old carvings of Maori, and there'll be that shape in there. So that's quite prominent too. Now, a lot of people, myself included, have been critical about this whole process, Peter, of changing the flag, not because of any offence that may be laid toward Britain by taking the Union Jack on it, but to the contrary, that the Prime Minister has been anchoring New Zealand closer and closer once again to the old country, England. And having a change of flag it almost confuses what's going on here. If there was a plan toward New Zealand independence, complete, republic or whatever, from England, then we could understand changing the flag, but it doesn't seem to be. It just seems to be change of artwork.
Yeah.
And that confuses a lot of people. So a lot of people who kind of edge toward, okay, no, we've had a guts full of, having, the Crown and having to pay for the Royals every time they want to come to New Zealand and pay as soon as they leave good old England, we've got to pick up the ticket, all of that type of thing, and change the constitution in favour of the republic. Well, all people in the country are kind of thinking, well, okay, we can understand the $26 million being spent on the change of flag if it actually meant we were heading in a particular direction. Prime Minister won't talk about that.
Okay.
There has been talk, as Dave Penberthy picked up last Friday when he spoke to us, spoke to me on their program, that also there were politicians calling for a change in the national anthem.
Yeah.
And a couple of the opposition ones, Labour's leader and also New Zealand First leader, Winston Peters, who we often talk about on your show, they were saying that our national anthem sounds like a dirge, and it makes people sad rather than happy or full of national pride. And when you stand back, you think, okay, well, there's something going on in New Zealand. Well, it'd be nice to think that there was. And that's where the criticism of the flag, in those designs, those 40 designs, you can see, looking at those, I kind of think, yeah, there's a few there that would be very, very good to have. But if only there was a plan to it. But that's my personal opinion on it, Peter.
Indeed. Well, good luck with whittling them down, I guess, a bit more. I did see one, I don't know what show it was on. There was something was on one of the screens here, and I didn't catch it. It was a comedy show of some sort, but they were sort of making a bit of fun of it. And one of them they put up was just a white flag with black text on it that just simply said, "We are not Australian."
Oh, that's great.
To differentiate you from us.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll get the vote.
I remember there was a thing when there was talk under John Howard that there may be a shared currency, with Australia and New Zealand. And I know back over here they says, well, that's okay, Mr. Howard, but as long as there isn't a kangaroo on the note. So we'll see, that rivalry. But anyway, people can judge for themselves, Peter, if they tune in to watch the All Blacks and the Wallabies game on Saturday.
Yeah.
At Eden Park in New Zealand, they'll hear the national anthem, New Zealand national anthem, sung alongside you all guys, Advanced Australia Fair, be able to choose which one's better. Does the New Zealand one sound like a dirge, or is it okay?
We'll have a listen. We'll pass
to
judgment next week with it, Selwyn.
Harsh judgment, yes.
Yeah. All right, mate. Thanks for joining us this morning, Selwyn. Have a great week.
You too. Bye-bye.
All the best. And you can catch Selwyn again on breakfast tomorrow morning after 6:30, or head to eveningreport.nz. It's 5:29 now.
Get out back and back again with Isuzu Utes Outback Ready Deals. Tackle the tough terrain with the Isuzu D-Max 4x4 LSU Crew Cab Ute for just $42,990 drive away. Or head off the beaten track with a top-of-the-range 7-seat Isuzu MUX 4x4 Auto for only $50,990 drive away. For terms and conditions, see isuzu.com.au or head down to your local Isuzu Ute dealer today.
Hello. Frank Walker from National Tiles. With National Tiles' amazing under-tile heating, your floor tiles will be as warm as toast this winter. Whether you're building or renovating,